Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Calhoun's. Whether it's high school games or Vols action this fall, there you go. Let Calhoun's provide the food, the sides, the utensils, the plates, and napkins for your tailgate with a Feed 5 or Feed 10 family pack just like this one. You can get barbecue or ribs. You get all the fixings that go with it, everything that makes Calhoun's great. They do the cooking, you do the tailgating. And as Chuck always likes to point out, you can actually just put everything back in there and use it as your trash can.
You sure can.
Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee, and certainly that's the case during football season. All right, I want to welcome in Mr. Chuck Cavalier, the next member of our panel to come in. Thanks for joining us, Chuck.
Great to be here.
Quick questions, probably 90 seconds on each of these, so 30 seconds from each of you. Who will be the biggest impact newcomer for Tennessee this season? Chuck, since you're new, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Who's the biggest impact newcomer?
Freshman, transfers, anybody,
Anybody.
right?
Who will have the biggest impact on
I think
season?
a good first choice is going to be Alontae Taylor. I mean, you're talking about a kid that was like the number 21 wide receiver out of Middle Tennessee. You needed him enough at cornerback. That's where he's going to play, especially as Jimmy and some others have pointed out. In this first game, this matchup, you'd be hard-pressed in college football to find a better quarterback and two receivers on the same team than what West Virginia is going to put at you. This will go through the whole season, but you're going to have a true freshman out there, but he'll have plenty of chances through the season to make plays.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Brandon Kennedy at center. I think he'll have a more positive impact. Taylor will have an impact, but I think Kennedy will have a more positive one because I think he helps solidify the offensive line. He takes over at center. That allows Ryan Johnson to move to guard. And I think that there's kind of a filter down effect where I think that they're going to do a good job or a better job maybe than a year ago, but I think his presence at center is going to help a lot. He knows what's expected based on his time at Alabama as far as the strain. So I think he's going to have the biggest impact.
All right.
I'm going to go Dominique Wood-Anderson. He is a newcomer tight end, junior college transfer. He chose Tennessee over Alabama and Texas A&M, and I think he would have had a chance to go in anywhere he signed and play right away. He's a guy that can help as a safety valve in the passing game. He can be a playmaker, I think, in the passing game as well. And I think he makes a very important position group for Tennessee this year deeper. At tight end, where they can also use guys in an H-back, fullback type role, guys like Austin Pope and Eli Wolf. I would expect to see Dominique Wood-Anderson early for Tennessee this year.
I will play the role of decider. I'm going with Chuck. I had Alontae Taylor down here. You said because positive is why you're going with Brandon Kennedy. I didn't say positive impact. I just said biggest impact. And I think when you take a freshman corner who has big opportunity, I mean, this guy may be great back half of the year. He may be great next year. He may be great for years to come. He may be great right off the bat, but one way or the other, out there on an island, he's going to have an impact. I think he's a guaranteed impact game after game. People are going to be gunning for the newcomer. What he does with that opportunity is going to have a lot to say about how this Tennessee defense performs. So I'm going to go biggest impact newcomer, Alontae Taylor.
I'm a positive guy, by the way.
You are very positive. Yeah, exactly.
And that was the top three.
Sunshine Jimmy is what we call you. That's
And
right.
that was the top three we had, or the top three I had on my list, by the way.
Always have to come back. All right. What has been the most under-discussed topic, good or bad? So you can be negative here. What was the most under-discussed topic that we should have discussed more leading up to this game? I got one that's obvious.
I do too.
Special teams is mine.
Yes.
That's mine as well.
Is that where everybody's going?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
I had specifically UT kickers and special teams.
Well, I go.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about their coverage. I don't know anything about the return game. I think you got question
Yes.
marks all over special teams.
I think that's obvious. And then I don't know if we said enough about how bad West Virginia's defense may be, or it has been in the past, which I think gives some more hope to Tennessee to pull off the upset. But obviously the Tennessee kicking game with new people there, when you've had such dependable players, and punters, like we've said, have flipped the field. Who's going to be back there now? And then if you have a drive that stall and you need points and you do try to kick a field goal, they're going to be able to knock it through from 40 yards.
Yeah, I got a question on special teams.
Yeah,
I'll let you discuss.
Yeah, and the margin for error for Tennessee this season is going to be pretty slim, right?
Yeah.
So if you make plays on special teams, we've seen Tennessee early in Butch Jones' years in Knoxville. Special teams plays made a big difference for Tennessee. Mistakes could cost Tennessee. Also, I think a reason it's probably under-discussed, we've barely seen it. We saw some special teams work in the open practice, but other than that, the media has not seen any special teams work.
I've got a 1A to that.
Okay.
1A, 1B. I think it's the offensive line having a different scheme. That hadn't been talked about much. Look there, and we visited with Cole Kubelik, who's with the SEC Network. He's a former Auburn offensive lineman, Tennessee was in a zone read scheme with a lot of, I thought, pushing, shoving, getting in the way. Now they're trying to go with more of a physical attack, more isolation blocking. Kubelik said it's harder to go from the zone scheme to a isolation scheme than isolation to a zone read. I think that's going to be a challenge for this team. And that hadn't been talked about.
No, it hasn't been. Okay, very good. Appreciate that. When we come back, stick around. Guys, you want to see this? Ladies, if you know of guys who aren't in the room right now, get them in to watch this next segment. Very important. Over the course of the last 8 years, this will be the 8th time we've done it, over the last 7 years, we know of 6 people who have gotten in touch with us to say, that segment got me to do X, and that saved my life. It's an important segment that's coming up next. Before we get there, Tall Paul.
When the work is finally done, day is finally through, it's time to have some fun. I know exactly what to do. Got to leave behind the daily grind, find a tropic state of mind, a warm Caribbean atmosphere where the rum is dark and the water is clear. Island, going to an island, island.